Notorious convicted criminal Leo Teskey is now a dangerous offender and will be locked up indefinitely. The process took almost 10 years with a long series of trials, appeals, and errors. There are more than 50,000 adult criminal court cases every year in our province. While most Albertans have at least some confidence in our justice system, cases like this do raise questions about its efficiency and effectiveness. Are long cases the exception or the rule in Alberta's justice system? Is something broken, or do the public's expectations need to be changed? Here tonight is Leslie Miller, longtime justice advocate who's been at the center of the Leo Teskey trials. It was her husband, Dougal Miller, who was attacked by Teskey. We also have criminal defense lawyer Gregory here and Edmonton Sun columnist Andrew Hannon. Welcome, everyone, to Alberta Primetime. Thanks for joining us. Let's get started a little bit first with the Teskey case. Andrew, let's start maybe with you. What went wrong in the legal process? You've followed this for a long time.
Well, I don't know if you can say that any one particular thing went wrong, but it seemed to be that Teskey himself kept calling for delays. He would fire his lawyers. He would ask for continuances, and it dragged it out for, by the time he was finally declared a dangerous offender, it was 10 years after the offense.
Leslie, obviously you've just been knee-deep in this, you know, the entire process. You've been such an advocate and you've fought for a very long time. Do you feel the system failed you?
Of course it did. If the system worked properly, Teskey wouldn't have been out in the first place, and my husband would be fit and well today. They made mistake after mistake after mistake. Each time he was in front of a judge, he managed to worm his way through things. In 1986, I believe, when he shot policeman Mike Lagusta, that should have been his downfall. If that had been in any other country, he would have been put away for life. They had done tests with a psychiatrist, had said that he was psychopathic, and yet time and time again he was allowed out.
It's frustrating, obviously,
which is
for
really
victims.
frustrating for me,
Right.
because my husband didn't deserve what happened to him.
Right. Rod, what's your take as a criminal defense lawyer?
Well, certainly from a personal perspective, it's tragic for her entire family, and in some ways the perfect storm of things. Everything that went wrong could have gone wrong, and certainly an accused person pushing the envelope to delay his case as many times and for as long as he could contributed to that. The good thing is that as of today, there are a lot of really significant and substantial changes that are made in the province to prevent this from happening again.
So what are we seeing? What kind of changes are we talking about?
Well, we're seeing file ownership with the Crown prosecutors. So they've adopted some systems from other provinces where a prosecutor will often be assigned to a case right from the beginning. It is their case, and it's called file ownership. They own it, and they're responsible for it. There are also a lot of really significant scheduling changes in the entire province where trials are now set often within 6 months, and there's remote scheduling, there's computerized scheduling, and you can't delay things. If you try to delay things, you have to go in front of a judge and justify why a case is taking longer than it should. So everybody...
Now they do it.
Now they're doing it. Yes. Everyone's trying to, defense, Crown, and the judiciary are trying to step in to shorten trial times.
You're nodding. Do you think this is effective?
Well, that's a step in the right direction, because, you know, a psychopath loves the attention. He likes to manipulate things around about him, which is what Teskey did. And he was allowed to do that. You know, it was like we were catering to him. And he was making a mockery of the justice system. Now, you know, in the States, I have one rule down there that I really believe in, is the 3 strikes and you're out. But, you know, you have to swing the bat first before you hit the ball. So we need changes in the laws, and that's what I'm campaigning to do, to have change. We need stronger deterrence.
Right.
You know, putting Teskey on probation for weapons charges, which is what he was on when he attacked my husband, That's no good. If he's going to, time and time again, not make appearances in front of the judge, what is he going to think about being on probation? He's not going to pay attention to that.
Right. Andrew, do you think that the criminals or, the defendants that are in the system, do they have too much power still, even with some of these changes that we've seen?
That's a difficult one because, I mean, we do live in a democracy and you do need due process. Otherwise, you're going to end up with more Donald Marshalls, people who get railroaded into long jail sentences and turn out to be innocent. But I was sitting in the courtroom during Teskey's case last year. It was 2009, 9 years after Dougal was attacked, when Teskey himself tried to have his case dismissed because it had taken so long that his rights were violated. The judge turned around and said, no, that's not the case. You've been doing all of these delays. If you were to take out all the delays that have come from you and at your request, the delays would amount to 15 months as opposed to 9 years. So
wow.
In certain cases, when you've got someone who has nothing left to lose and it's just a game to them, like Teskey, who is an extreme example, judges need to be able to step in faster and say enough is enough.
Right. Okay, we'll find out a little bit more about potentially even other cases here in Alberta, and we'll continue this discussion with our panel in just a moment. And tell us what you think. Follow the contact links on albertaprimetime.com. We're back with our panel in a moment.
To me, it's too lenient. It allows for too many things to go unpunished with a proper punishment.
There's obviously a few cases that probably could have been settled a little bit different and probably in, a different party's favor.
There's going to be the odd case that slips through the cracks, and those are the ones that make the headlines, right?
Every system has holes in it. I think for the most part, Canada does have a pretty good justice system. I think it needs to be a little more stricter on sentencing.